All right, well, today is technically the last lesson of the mentorship, day 16. Crazy. 4 days a week, put us at 16 days in a month, and voila, we are at the end. And today we have psychological hurdles and journaling. Just throw them in both. Um, Psychological hurdles, probably low key, we've gone over a good portion of. With explaining the last couple lessons lessons and topics, we go over the psychological stuff. Everybody kind of already knows some of the most common things, um, and I could be wrong. Let me see something real quick. YouTube, I believe that I have a video on trading psychology. Yeah, I do. Make sure there's no personal information. Cool. It's a raw and uncut thing that I did a while back. PowerPoint I put together one time. Spent like literally, I don't know, it was either like 16 hours or like 26 hours, an absurd amount of hours putting this together. So this is really everything. Like if you want a full in-depth video on psychology and emotions, I strongly recommend this video. Okay, it's already on my YouTube channel. So if you have watched any of these recordings, then you probably know how to find this video if you have knowledge. So cannot recommend this enough if you want to entail more into psychological stuff. Cool deal. Today again, kind of just, I didn't see it in your page. You do? I'll bust it quick. Yeah, I should. Here, I'll put a link into it. Oh, you found it? Okay, cool deal. Yeah, it's just an older video back from I think 2024. Maybe early 2025, but it's an old video. But it's good content. I mean, and I'll show you guys real quickly. If I remember how to use Google Drive, slide copies, trading psychology. Make sure my email isn't in this. My email totally wasn't that for like half a smidge. I don't really care. Don't blow up my email. But yeah, it is 76 slides of like everything from what the right mindset is, revenge, boredom, adrenaline. Got little practice questions in there, wishful thinking. I mean, this is like a very in-depth, and there's a stopping point about halfway through. Greed. It took me hours to fucking build this. A lot of caffeine. FOMO. Yeah. So I would be like, let's just run through this, but it's already on my fucking YouTube channel, so just go watch it if you give a shit. It's a good video, not gonna lie. It's raw and unedited because I'm lazy. But yeah. Yeah, so. And pretty much all of these are the psychological hurdles that I want to go over with you guys. You have, we did this yesterday, so pretty much can look up. But you have like greed, revenge, FOMO, boredom, which I low-key am right now. What do I feel like I spelled boredom wrong? I did. I don't really give a fuck. If you haven't learned by now, I don't know how to spell. So suck it. Greed, FOMO, wishful thinking. Okay, which you kind of can get rid of. I mean, honestly, wishful thinking can show up in bias now that I think about it. Right, because you're like, oh, my bias has to be right. Has to be right. I'm never wrong. Right, that's just wishful thinking. Boredom. What else? Adrenaline's an interesting one, but hopefully, like after a little while, you get over that. It's just basically the rush of dopamine, like gambling, um, of seeing like a crazy P&L, so you oversize and whatnot, and then you get adrenaline, and you become an adrenaline junkie, and you use the markets to give you your dose of that. It's bad, right? So overall, though, we're low-key gonna use trading view because I like being able to like drag and drop and stuff. Open this back up. Drag and drop stuff. But pretty much overall, we already know what the emotions are. And just like how to take a loss, emotions are the same way. Everybody thinks that, oh, to be emotionless means like you don't feel shit, right? In simple, blunt terms. But it's not, right? The emotionless that you need to be in trading is not making a decision based on emotions, right? That is what you need to be. Because, of course, you're gonna feel FOMO. You're gonna feel wishful thinking. You're gonna feel greed and everything, right? And all of this, it will happen. It's pretty much inevitable. And that's okay. But you simply cannot let them make you make decisions, right? And in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to do that is just call out, right? Whether you're trading by yourself or with a group or whatever, but basically out yourself, right? So to deal with it, out yourself. And this is why like having a trading partner, peer, whatever, someone to like help you hold yourself accountable is so important. Is you can just be like, dang, I'm feeling really, really FOMO-y right now. Fucking in a chat, bro. Say it out loud to yourself. Be like, darn, I probably shouldn't do this. Take your fucking text box on your chart and put, I'm FOMO right now. And don't like delete it until. And then, oh, I'm greedy, right? If you out yourself, you kind of are forced to realize that it's a legit thing. You can't neglect it, right? And then if you out yourself to other peers that you're trading with, whether it be, you know, a live stream or, you know, if you're trading one-on-one with someone, you have them to kind of help you hold yourself accountable until you build the habit, right? That's where it's like, oh, I really want to enter this short right now. I'm going to FOMO out the mouth if I fucking don't. Someone might be like, well, you know, probably not the best idea, and then kind of rationalize it in your head. Because the hardest part when it comes to emotions is you have two sides. You have logic and emotions, okay? And, you know, if we were trading intuition, if my whole entire strategy was, hey, trade intuition, oh, hey, I think it's going to be a short right now, which I low-key do. Then it's like, cool, fuck the logic, trade your emotions. Oh, I want to be greedy right now. Okay, great. Intuition, stay greedy, right? If you were like rubbing a magic 8-ball, all of this would be very different. But it's not the case. We are trying to execute with the most logic. So when logic comes in, emotion tries to like invalidate your logic. Why can I not spell validate? Right? And that's the pitfall. That's where you mess up, is when, and this goes for all realms of life, right? When logic comes in, oh, I probably shouldn't do that. And the next thing you know, you're doing it. And it's because of emotions, right? And the opposite is very true, right? If you like fucking relationships and stuff, right, where they are emotions and you have to be emotional, logic is going to mess you up. Because logic comes in and tries to deplete and invalidate your emotions, right? So there's definitely different circumstances in life where you have to decide which one is more important and probably more true in that sense, right? Emotions aren't always, or not emotions, relationships, whether they're with, you know, your children, your parents, your fucking significant other, whoever, it's not always the most logical thing in the world, right? It's very feely kind of intuitional thing. So logic sometimes can fuck everything up. And the opposite is true in the markets. And simply understanding that is what's important. And this is where, just like we went over the other day, of having the exercises, in real life can help, right? Can absolutely help. And there's so much content on psychological hurdles and psychological effects of trading. You could spend days going down this rabbit hole, which, I mean, if you want to, you can. It's not like bad. Why did I just get... Strange. Where was that? Yeah. So, AKA, in the markets, don't make moves or decisions based on emotions, okay? You aren't trying to get rid of emotions, because it's not fucking possible. You want to resist the urge. Is that how you spell urge? Yeah, that is how you spell urge, I think. Why am I doubting if it has a U? You want to resist the urge to act on them. Okay. That's the name of the game. Everybody's always going to feel FOMO. The best traders get FOMO. They get, wishful thinking. Seriously, it's normal. It's not abnormal. And the harder you resist, like, in the wrong way, the more power they have. Right? Because if you're fighting the emotion, then you're going to give it more attention and more strength, and it will eat you alive, because it's basically, there's that folktale of there's an evil wolf and a good wolf, right? Who wins? And it's whichever one you feed. Okay? It's the same thing when it comes to emotions and everything, and simply decision making, right? You have logic and emotions. Which one wins? Whichever one you feed. So the more time you spend trying to resist the urge of, oh wow, I'm super FOMO'd right now, I'm in this trade and I'm greedy as fuck and I'm just yada yada, and you put so much attention on it, you're actually feeding it, right? In that book I was telling you guys about, Reality Transurfing, it talks about it as a pendulum, right? It's a swing, right? And the visual it tells you is it's like sitting on a swing set, like a children's swing set, right? If you get on it, you just like seize. Like, I mean, just start pulse, like random, like have a seizure on it. You're not going to swing, right? It's once you kind of harmonize with how it's meant to be that you actually can get some speed and start moving on a swing set, right? And, when you're forward, you got to pull back, right? You got to feed each side to keep an equilibrium balance between it, right? But if we're trying to deplete emotions, then we need to put more kind of mental focus on the logical side of thing, right? And the logic side of thing is everything we've gone over, right? It's, okay, cool. Instead of trading based on my emotions, let me literally, where is it at? Putting it all together, somewhere in here, right? Let me set up a trade, right? If price sweep liquidity then has a reaction move in the opposite direction of liquidity sweep, look for a building block and a retracement to the building block to target unswept liquidity, opening bell, etc., 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 right? Bam. So instead of trading off your emotions, let me trade based on what I see, because this is the logic. This is the formula, right? It's the same thing of where, scientists sometimes doubt religions. It's because one's more emotions, one's more logic, right? And it's the same thing. You know which is which. It's just, can you resist the urge to mess about in this stuff, right? And that's why you're going to have a harder time dealing with everything. How did I copy that? You're going to have a hard time dealing with everything if you simply fight the urge, right? It doesn't work that way. And it kind of goes into journaling, actually, with the outing yourself, right? A lot of times I've seen and heard people, they record themselves trading, so they get OBS, right? And they use it as a literal video diary. So mid-trade, whether they're trading themselves or with people or whoever, they basically will call out, oh, wow, I'm feeling very whatever right now. I'm feeling very anxious right now. I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety of this, or I feel this and that. And they're outing themselves, but they're also journaling it because it's on recording. And if you don't want to record yourself, fine. That's perfectly okay, bro. You got notes on your computer, you got notepad next to you, whatever it is, write the shit down. So like, this kind of goes into entering trade or like journaling, but if we enter a trade, okay, and then like dot, we'll get to this in a second. And then mid trade, right? So in journaling, you want to have like entry, why you took it, X, Y, and Z. But then you want to have a part that's like while you're in the trade. How were you feeling? What were you thinking? And for that journaling, you can be like, okay, got greed at blah, 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 blah. Had FOMO. And you can journal your entire day instead of just journaling a singular trade, right? Had FOMO. Got wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. Yeah, right? Wishful thinking on intraday bias. And was just wrong. Right? And then put like a timestamp. So if it's like, let's say that was 11:43 a.m. on whatever day, right? So then when you go back and review your trade, you can go, okay, cool, here's my notes, here's the charts. Cool, at this time I was feeling a little anxious. Why was that in hindsight, right? And the more times you practice this, it's how you overcome them, right? It's how you overcome your emotions, because what you're doing is you're giving your logical side of your brain ammunition to fight the emotions, right? You're giving it the stack of reason of like, hey, last time we looked at something like this similar setup, you were feeling very wishful thinking, but you were just wrong. So then your logic kicks in when your emotion kicks in. It's like, hey, dude, this happened once already, and you remember what the fuck happened? So let's not do it again. And that's how you overcome revenge. I told you guys this the other day, I believe. But it's like the minute you realize that revenge trading is just pointless, right? It ends up 9 out of 10 times. I'd give it more like 8 out of 10 times. Because sometimes it works. It's not good, but it works. But sometimes you go from $150 loss to a 400, 800 X amount of loss, and then it's like, fuck, I could have recovered that amount of loss the next day, the next week, the next month, but I was so caught up on it has to be green that I ended up 3xing, 4xing, 5xing my original loss size, right? And to overcome that, you simply give your logical side of your brain more ammunition to fight the emotion. That's it. Let me turn my heat off. So, I mean, that's it. Now, the pitfalls, right, now that we've kind of go over how to overcome some of them, you might be asking, well, what are they? And you could simply ask ChatGPT, hey, what are the psychological hurdles that I'm likely to find in trading? And it'll give you a fucking ton list. I mean, like, straight up. But, again, revenge. I'm going to speed type these, so just, like, ignore the spelling. FOMO, greed, wishful thinking. Thought I spelled thinking. Greed, FOMO, boredom. There isn't either. Emotion seeking is probably what I'd put for adrenaline. Okay. Revenge. I'm trying to think of any other one. Greed, yeah. So greed kind of goes into oversizing. Overconfidence is low-key a real one. And then fear. Why am I forgetting fear? Okay, so, right. Revenge, we know, is, I don't even need to put it, you know what revenge is. FOMO, you know what that is. Greed can be, right, oversizing. Right, it's not just letting trades run beyond their TPs. Holding full size past TP. And typically a predetermined take profit, may I add. Wishful thinking can be, this trade is right and has to be right, right? Like that it is impossible that I'm wrong, which I promise you it's not. Okay, you can be wrong. Everybody can be wrong. This trade is right. My biased is right. Okay, basically wishful thinking is just not accepting defeat. So not accepting defeat. right? On ideas, on trades, on whatever. Okay, boredom is kind of like emotion seeking, but you're just like, oh, I don't. It's kind of getting cute. I know we saw that the other day, right? Boredom trading, taking stupid shots, not waiting for good setups. There's a lot that goes into boredom. Emotion seeking is gambling, literally just straight up seeking emotion rushes, I guess is a way to put it, like dopamine. What's the happy drug? Serotonin? Like shit like that, right? So you're basically craving that feeling that trading gets you, and you typically will find this when you first start trading. But it's a real thing. Overconfidence. This is interesting. So overconfidence can really screw you up, which sounds weird because a lack of confidence can also screw you up. And it's typically overconfidence come after a crazy winning streak, right? So you upsize. Your ego's too big, so you take riskier setups because you're like, oh well, I'm killing it. I can't be wrong. Again, wishful thinking, right? So you get a little crazier. It's not taking any profit or managing trade, right? So this is like, oh, I'm going to leave my stop here being up 50 points, and instead of scaling out or moving your stop, you just sit because you're like, oh, this is going to hit my TP. There's no worst case, right? It's pretty much believing there's no, quote, worst case, right? And there always is, and always will be, and that's something you have to come with. Fear, everybody knows fear, but it's interesting, right? So you can have fear of loss is the biggest one. Fear of loss is going to fuck you up. And of course, FOMO, which I don't even got to go into that. Fear of loss, right, is basically taking profit too soon, right? Which sounds weird, but it's that I'm scared of this flipping red. And what happens is then you end up distorting your risk to reward, and it completely deteriorates every, quote, on paper statistic of your trading. Taking profit too soon, not taking like high rated setups, and then there's one other thing of fear. What am I blanking on? I mean, you could do the inverse of overconfidence though, right? Not taking high setups and then like undersizing, which is a legit thing. Because undersizing is like, okay, cool, this is a really good trade. It's A plus, it's whatever, but I'm gonna let all my past losses affect this one. So instead of taking my normal size, let's say 1 mini, I'm gonna take 5 micros, right? And this is not a conscious decision in the sense of like building confidence back up, but it's like this is an A plus trade. I'm just randomly going to deteriorate my sizing, which then undersizing, you can stay very stagnant for a very long time, and it's like stunts your account growth, right? And that's where the only exception to undersizing is truly like if you are lacking confidence in the markets and you're trying to like play more survival game mode, then that's where you can do it. Because like if you're under confidence, then you want to undersize to build your confidence back up to go back to normal size. So it's kind of contradictive, but hopefully you guys can kind of understand that. What's anybody else got any other psychological hurdles or psychological emotions that are common that you've dealt with? It's funny, overconfidence and greed can lead to the same thing because greed is overconfidence. That should be about it. Yeah, I imagine it is. I mean, there's so many out there. I mean, let me see. Where's my notepad at? I'm gonna have to drag this over here because I gotta go look in other places. But I think I have an entire list on emotions somewhere. I cleared these out at one point, so I don't think I do. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the like common emotions. I mean, there's always like side things to them. Oh, I probably should like fix that just in case I want to open this back up. Okay, cool. But yeah, there's always going to be like side steps, right? Because these are umbrella terms and broad terms. Um, so like boredom, right, can be doing a whole lot of other things than just this, and you might even be like tailed to another emotion. Seeking emotion is kind of boredom because you're seeking entertainment, which is an emotion, in my opinion. You know, oversizing, greed can come from overconfidence. FOMO is fear. Revenge is also fear of loss. So regret, yeah. I mean, regret's a big one, man. That is actually true. And that I would say regret comes more into like kind of how to take a loss and what we went over in that one because it's not revenge, right? But it's also understanding that you're just it shit happens. And that's where how to take a loss, you know, just to quickly recap it, it was basically that no matter how you trade or what you do, you are going to take a loss. So as long as you have a like, okay, let me go back and look at this trade, and I'm like, oh, cool, I entered because of this, this, and this, and this, and this. I see why I entered. It just didn't work out. Then you shouldn't have regret, right? Regret is going to comes from doing stupid shit, right? It's really just that simple. You're doing stupid stuff. You're you know, seeking emotions, you're trading overconfidently, you have fear too much, right? I regret taking profit. Why did you take profit too soon? Well, I was fear of a loss. Okay, it trials back to fear, right? Why did you even take the trade? Oh, I was bored. Okay, cool. Well, there you're getting cute. You're taking stupid shit. You're not waiting for good setups, right? The only point that I think regret is completely irrelevant um, is if you I should put regret shouldn't come if you lose on a high rated setup. Okay. That is just part of the game. Okay. And that goes into how to take a loss. Right. Regret should come from breaking your rules, not from losing. Okay. And even if you stick to your rules, you're still gonna lose. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's part of the fucking game. But you shouldn't have regret because it's just a fucking loss. Right? You were just wrong. And if you can not get wishful thinking, it's gonna piss me off that it has a K at the end. But if you don't have wishful thinking and you have proper risk management, then losing a trade will be a-okay. Right? So going over like the psychological hurdles so far, does that make some sense to you? You too? Cool, cool, cool. All right, if you guys want to copy this, screenshot it real quick, put it in your notes. Give me a second. Look at my phone, see what time it is. See my notifications. Okay, cool. Delete. All right, now journaling. Okay. Journaling is do as I say, not as I do. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you guys. So journaling needs to consist of a couple different things. One, entry, spot, reason, size, and rating. Okay. You have to have all of these for your entry, and we'll probably add more to these once we get to it. Two, I'd put predetermined TP and stop stop loss and why. Okay. Explain like what you're doing, why at this point I am wrong because X. Okay. My TP is here because of X. Right. You want to like basically so when you read the first two lines, you're like, okay, I entered here in this direction. right? Which also hopefully entry spot, you put your direction there. Let me put that and direction just so you don't forget, because I've done that once or twice. But you want to have, you know, first two lines. Okay, cool. I'm entering here. My TP's here, which low key also needs to be and risk and Y, right? So you know, okay, I'm risking X amount of dollars, right? So TP can just be like 27,360. Stop this. But then like, what is your risk reward? So risk being, let's say risk 500. And then you could even put like risk to reward. You could do 500, 1500, whatever. So you know, okay, I'm risking $500 to make 1500 bucks. Why is that your spots? What are you thinking? And then what I would recommend, and this is more like live journaling instead of after the fact. So it's up to you. I recommend doing this, or at least mentally journaling if you want to be lazy. But 3, emotions and thoughts during the trade. Okay. Along with management updates, right? Such as TP, SL moves, yeah, etc. Right? So that's gonna, yeah, I mean, that makes some sense. Basically what we just went over, emotional hurdles. So you're like, okay, at X time I felt greedy, right? An easy way to do this, like if you're trading live and you really want to get, excuse me, all your attention, and you're not really wanting to fuck with the journaling, put like the time, and you don't even got to do it like full rate. 11:43. If I wrote that out, you guys know what time it is. If I wrote 1:47, right, you know what time that is. So you can put like 2:23, 2:34, and then put like G, greed, R, revenge, W, wishful thinking, right? You can put the simple letters just so you, as long as you have like the timestamps, so that when you do review it, you can go over it. 4, at this point, I feel like it'd just be like recap, right? So this would be like, you know, overall trade rating, okay? Outcome, okay? Things you did right, things you did wrong, okay? And if you ever open your fucking trading journal and you don't put a single fucking thing you did wrong, you're an idiot. Okay, the whole point of fucking journaling is so that you can understand what you did wrong. I don't care if you won the fucking trade. You did something wrong. And if you can't find it, I will happily find it for you. Okay? There's no such thing as a fucking immaculate trade. I think in my entire career of trading, journaling, and journaling trades, there was like 1 or 2 instances that I was like the only thing I could have improved on was nitpicking the fuck out of like maximizing my TPs, of leaving runners on, right? But there's always a way. And the more times you do this, you put the things you did wrong, 1, the more times your brain is going to remember and learn. So then 2, the faster you speed up your learning curve and your career curve to becoming a good trader, right? Because the things you did right, that's like basically, oh yeah, hell yeah, you did great there, whatever, right? Things you did wrong, it's okay, cool. You know, even if it's a winning trade, I could have done this to improve, right? And it's going to take, I mean, things you did wrong, oh, I didn't wait for confirmation. You're probably going to have that shit written out like 100 fucking times. And that's fine. But as long as you truly can like review and reread the trades, then you should over time improve, because then one day you're going to be looking to take a trade and you're going to remember, oh, just about every time I lose a trade, it's because I didn't wait for confirmation. Let me wait for confirmation. Okay, cool. I waited. There's no entry here anymore. It's invalid. I would have been stopped out. Great. I improved. Things you did right. I waited for confirmation and missed, right? And wouldn't have taken the trade. And it's your journal. It's your fucking diary. I don't care even if you like see ideas, right? Let's say you want to journal even more in depth and you want to go above and beyond. You can put like ideas and then timestamp them. So you could be like 11:45 short because of X. Wait. Okay. Waited for confirmation, never came, didn't enter, would have been stopped. Bink. right? If you really want to go above and beyond, you can. It's your fucking journal. You can use whatever language you want. Call yourself a dumbass. Say the words you probably can't say out loud. Nobody cares. Okay, and nobody's really gonna read your journal. But that's it. It's that simple. Okay, it doesn't have to be super crazy. It doesn't have to be extravagant of writing every single thing down. It's simply so that you can come in, go, okay, I entered here because of this, took this size, overall entry rating. I'm gonna give that like an A plus, a B plus, a C minus, and then of course put the direction. So like entry, 337 short because, and you don't even gotta put because, it's your fucking notes, comma, blank, comma, 10 minis, 1 micro, whatever the fuck you want to do. Rating A plus, B plus, C minus, and don't fucking lie to yourself. Okay. And then next line, predetermined TPs. TP at this because of unswept liquidity from Asia lows. Bang. Okay. Stop loss here because it's a break back above the structure or the leg that we just created, right? So it'd be an invert. It would invalidate trend, that the BOS, or change of character, whatever the fuck you want to put, right? Cool. And then how much are you risking dollar wise? And this needs to be in dollars. Okay. I don't care if it's fucking pesos, it needs to be in currency, right? You need to know what your risk to reward is. And don't put fucking 1 to 3. I don't want to see your risk to reward ratio. I want to see the fucking dollar amount. Okay. Risking $250 to make $750. Risking 148 to make 3,700 whatever, right? Nobody gives a shit. Okay. And why? And the why is like unswept liquidity, invalidation of, BOA or BOS and change of character on the 1 minute to continue in X, whatever. Right. And while you're in the trade, if you want to journal while in the trade, you can take quick little jot notes, quick little bullet points after the fact, after the trade. You can go back in and edit it and perfect it, whatever. Right. And it's your journal. It doesn't have to be fucking perfect. Okay. Emotions. As we already stated, you can do the same thing. Time frame, initial, right? Greed, revenge, yeah, whatever. Okay. But you have to do this because then when you're reviewing it, you're like, cool. At this point, I TP'd 50% of size at this point because of X. I moved my stop loss here because we broke structure, so I could move it to the next structure high, right? You want to give what you did to manage your trade and why you did it, okay? You got to give why you did it. Because if you don't understand the why, then there's no understanding of like your own self and improving as a trader. Okay, recap. Okay, this would consist of something like profit, yes, loss, yes. How much? Negative 473. Okay, maybe commissions fucked you, 503, right? Commissions got you. Okay, maybe plus 1,250. Cool, put that there. Overall trade rating, I'd give this an A plus. Okay, overall trade rating is not the same as your rating up here in the entry. Okay, trade rating is how well did you execute? How well did you trade? Okay, so an A plus is I got a great entry, did everything right, maximized my profit, trailed my stop, trimmed runners, whatever it may be. I did everything right. Outcome is basically, I guess, recap was just what this line was, but outcome, right? Profit, loss. And then things you did right, which is basically, explaining why your trade is rated so high, why you rated it so high. Okay. So things you did right. I waited for confirmation. I had a good risk to reward. I had good targets. I managed my trade right, whatever. Things I did wrong. I got greedy. I removed my TP. I didn't take profit or manage my trade being up $1,000, right? Whatever it may be. Things you did wrong. Didn't wait for confirmation. Got too emotional in the trade. Felt fear at blank time, right? So that you can go back and this, reviewing it every single day, sure, not bad, right? I think when you rewrite it, you're kind of reviewing it. So whatever. But if you review every single one of your trade journals, your journal entries, like once a week, maybe once a month, do it once a week, and then maybe like everything once a month, like the entire month, then you're going to start to notice common denominators. And that is the entire point. The entire point is to notice what you did right consistently and what you do wrong. What you did wrong consistently and what you do right. I don't know why the fuck my brain is having a problem with that. Right. Whatever. I don't really care how that's spelled. That's it. Because then, over time, those mistakes and notes of what you did wrong, you will speak to yourself in your mind before entering a trade or while in a trade. Right? That's the whole idea. It's consciousness. It's conscious improvement. So, damn, last time I was in this kind of predicament, I took profit way too soon and ended up regretting it. Let me just move my stop instead of like panicking out of the fucking trade. Right? And like I said, you're never going to be perfect. So, understand, you're always going to do something wrong, and that's just part of the game. And don't bully yourself for it. Okay? Does this make sense? Do you guys have any questions at all on this? Hey, thank you, Erad, for answering that, by the way. Because I was about to say yes. Nope, makes sense. Cool deal. Right. It's really not complicated. And now if you guys really want, right, so I don't think it's necessary, right? Convenience comes at a premium, right? But TradeZella, if you're using for cash slash like options account, and then like Top Step, and most prop firms slash prop firms have one built in, right? And the cool thing with TradeZella is you can, they have like it implement. It's like a fucking straight CSV file from your brokerage, so it has its exact like entries, exits, managements of everything. So TradeZella is not cheap, but it is good and makes your life easy. But again, is not necessary. Top Step has one. If you don't like it, use a fucking notepad. And on a notepad, guess what you can do? You can take a fucking screenshot and implement your screenshot into the notepad. And at that point, you basically have TradeZella. Just more work. So there's easier options, but if you don't want to pay the money, then do it by hand. It's pretty self-explanatory. Damn, we're back up with that fair value gap. I knew it was gonna bounce to that motherfucking spot too. So cool deal. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. So that's it. I mean, that's legit it. That's the entire mentorship. That's crazy. It's over. Oh, it's kind of a sad day. It's like the last day of school. You're kind of happy, but at the same time, you're like, dang. Yeah, man. I mean, it really felt like just the other day we were doing like candlesticks and trends and everything. Crazy. Hopefully, there was value in it, right? Hopefully, even if it's just, oh yeah, I learned this. I mean, fuck it, it was free. So, and hopefully, if you put the work in, it pays off. That you seek the reward. Appreciate that, ABC. Well, cool deal. Cool deal. Thank you, Erad. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream or the recording. So appreciate you guys dedicating the time. As always, if you have questions even after this month, just DM me, tag me. I will do my best to help you guys out. And yeah, I mean, what a good run. So by now, you should have some notes. And whenever you get faced with trials and everything, then review your notes. Right? Everything here. If you get confused, hopefully your notes are going to be there to help you out. So yeah, cool deal. Alrighty. Well, GG's. Thank you guys. I appreciate you dedicating your time to hear me rant and misspell words. It's been fun. And yeah, on to the next.